Hi, welcome to part 2 of the video about 5 most common mistakes on the STANAG exam. In the previous video, we discussed grammar mistakes, whereas today we're going to focus on pronunciation. So I have prepared 5 most typical types of mistakes because I'm not going to focus on a specific word, but rather on groups of words. So let's get into that. Mistake number 1. This will be the group of words that come from French, and they are problematic for a lot of English speakers. So these are the words such as coup, core, reveille, and so on and so forth. So they can be quite problematic to pronounce because of their French origin. So be aware of those. Number 2 is the group of words that end with able, whereas they are unstressed in the syllable, so we don't really pronounce it as in the word table, or separately the word able. So I wanted to give you a few examples of the words where we pronounce them very differently. Comfortable, reliable, undeniable, right? And I would like you to compare the way we pronounce the word able. For example, I am able to do something, and notable. Okay, knowable, I am not able, and notable. Right? It's quite different, and you have to be careful because you might be confusing the people you are talking to. Category number 3 are verbs and adjectives that end with ed. A lot of speakers have a tendency of pronouncing all of the vowels that they see, whereas we don't really do it in the same way as it works in other languages. For example, the ed ending, there are 3 different ways to pronounce it. We can pronounce it as a T, right? So we would do it if it's an unvoiced sound. For example, the verb kick or attack, right? So the way we would use the past simple form of it would be kicked. The second case scenario are strong consonants and vowels. For example, lived, waved, enjoyed, stayed, right? So we pronounce them as d sound. And the third case scenario is when the verb actually ends, the verb or the adjective, because it also works for adjectives, when it ends with T or D. For example, want or need. Then we need to add an extra sound in between them. So we would say needed, wanted, right? Can you hear the extra sound that I'm adding in between the consonants there? So remember that it works exactly in the same way with adjectives: interested, embarrassed, and so on and so forth. Okay, so now you will start noticing it. Okay, the mistake number 4 is not making a distinction between long E and short E, right? They are 2 very different sounds, and when we mispronounce them, we might be saying a completely different word. For example, reach and rich. Steal and still, right? 2 completely different words, different meanings. And the reason why a lot of speakers struggle with it is that in their own language, they just have one E, and they just applied the E from their native language. But be aware that there are 2 different E's that we can pronounce the words with. And the 5th mistake, this one can be really, you may find it really easy, but a lot of people make this type of mistake, and that's misplacing the word stress. What does it mean? It's saying the words stressing the wrong syllable. For example, government instead of saying government, right? So we are confusing a little bit the English speakers here. Remember that sometimes in English, when we refer to a noun and when we refer to a verb, we would change the word stress. For example, the verb to record, but the noun, a record. Okay, record, record. Okay? Or to present something and to receive a present. Present to present. All right, in a nutshell, number 1, French origin words. Number 2, the words ending with able. Number 3, ed endings. Number 4, short and long E. And number 5, what was number 5? Misplacing the word stress. Okay. Next week, we're going to talk about 5 typical vocabulary mistakes. In the meantime, if you'd like to dive a little bit deeper and learn with me, you can go and visit my website, sign up to join my newsletter, and just explore the website. If you're interested in working with me, please contact me via email. So see you next week.